Well, folks, the nightmare continues as we check back in with our resident psycho lady of 90 Day Fiancé who gives the greats like Angela and Big Ed a run for their money. And if you're like me and I don't know, you don't like seeing people who are blind, being lied to, screamed at, and taken advantage of, well, you're going to have a tough time getting through this episode. I don't want to spoil too much, just make sure you watch until the very end because things get so dark and crazy in this one that you're going to have a tough time not reaching forward and punching your monitor out of frustration like Summit did. But let's start things off as we see Chidi visiting a specialist trying to see if there's any chance of him restoring his vision in his life.
I keep imagining how it will feel to be able to see the awesome world again.
So as you just heard from the man's mouth himself, he is really hoping there's a chance that he talks to this doctor and there's a way to restore his vision, but sadly, not everything always works out like a fairy tale movie. In fact, life can be very cruel, which it is for him right now. Basically, the doctor tells him, look, you have glaucoma, you have all these other things in your eyes. Not only are we probably never going to restore your sight or be able to, you also might have to completely remove one or both of your eyes in the future if the pressure and the various things that come along with that become too much, which I know. We're starting things off very sad. I feel for Chidi right now. I mean, this guy already didn't have high hopes of ever getting his vision back. I lost it in a freak accident or two freak accidents back to back. But the sickest thing is I feel like Renee is sitting here almost happy about the fact that she's hearing that he's never getting his sight back because as we know, she is really interested in this relationship purely because he's blind, because of not only her own insecurity, she's afraid of someone who she's with actually seeing what she looks like because maybe they might be turned off by that, as well as she really enjoys being a caregiver and feeling like she is the only reason this guy can navigate through the world, which is just sick. So I'm not going to put any words in her mouth, but I feel like she's over here grinning off camera like, yes, just what I wanted to hear. Like the psycho she is.
Hearing nothing could be done to restore my vision is indeed heartbreaking.
So this dude just found out that devastating news, right? So any good partner would be trying to comfort him. Let's hear what Renee has to say as soon as they leave the doctor's office and they finally get some alone time.
I really love chickens. And like I said, they really do have a wonderful personality.
Oh my God, this bitch with her chickens, bro. She is never gonna stop talking about chickens. I don't know why specifically that animal is so special to her, but he's even over it at this point. He's like, wow, you have such a good connection with these animals. Look, I just found out I'm never gonna see again. Can you maybe give me a hug and tell me everything's gonna be okay? Or are you just gonna keep rambling about these stupid chickens all day? It's like this lady has the emotional maturity and the ability to connect of like a toddler, and it's so frustrating to see.
Renee was there for me in the face of that tragic news and held my hands through it all.
But he's claiming that she held my hands through it all, and they're apparently closer after this, which is a nightmare because this guy needs to get the hell away from this woman as she is absolutely psycho, which we're about to see in this next scene as, Chidi's family, his sister and her husband, they prepared his favorite meal as a way of consoling him because this is a very tough time for him. Again, he's not really getting much support from Renee, even though he claims he is. So hopefully a home-cooked meal is going to be amazing, and Renee can try out experiencing his culture, his favorite food dish. Literally, food is one of the main things that us as people create community around and guide our lives around. It's one of the things you can't survive without. So it's very important in a relationship to be on the same page food-wise. Needless to say, they're not gonna be.
And you would kindly guide his hand to the galley. Okay, please, kindly.
Now or right now?
And the sister is like trying to help Renee figure out how to guide this man because again, she's been helping her brother out since he lost his vision. She's found out, the ways of helping guide him throughout the world, which is very difficult. It's a very focused job that really you can never take time off of. If the dude's awake, he's gonna be needing assistance. And Renee just doesn't get that. Instead, she thinks the sister's being overbearing and all this stuff, and she's also really acting like it's so weird that they're eating with their hands. Yeah, lady, look, people in different cultures eat food in different ways. But to her, this is just so grotesque, and she's already being so disrespectful to him and his family's culture. Again, this is his favorite meal, and she's kind of ruining it with the bad vibes.
I've been getting some weird vibes off Victoria. It's kind of like a real dark energy that vibrates throughout my body.
Oh my God, this lady with the whole sister complex. Again, she has mentioned in the past that she really has always had issues or feels like she's gonna have issues with her significant other's sister. She's always had this kind of vision, this clairvoyance into the future of her life, and she knows she's gonna go head to head against her man's sister, which is just such a weird concept. She's not competing with you for his love. She's just trying to make sure that he's in good hands and the woman that he's hoping to spend the rest of his life with is going to take care of him. Especially as a blind man, it's going to be able to help him guide him through the world with love and grace, which you just are unable to do. And instead, she's like, yeah, I sense a dark energy. I think she might be a witch. I think she might be an evil demon priestess that's trying to haunt me in my dreams. Like, it's not that deep, Renee, but you go off on your psycho arc like you always do. You absolutely batshit crazy woman.
And even though we're all hugging, I'm like, there's something there. Even when we look at each other in the eyes, there's something there.
And I don't know if this is with, well, obviously it's something with Renee, but something to do with maybe being a little bit on the spectrum or something like that. But she seems to really get perturbed by things and not let them go. In fact, it seems like she's actively looking for a fight or beef in order to gain stimulation. It's like every single scene she's causing just to get angry over something. And right now she's getting angry over the fact that Chidi's sister wants him to have a comfortable life and whoever's with him to guide him, like I just said, which is such a foreign idea to her. She's like, I don't know why she's trying to get me to support her brother so well, but I wish she'd just back off and let me hang out with him alone.
It looks like Play-Doh.
So how is it?
Hot.
And yeah, that's her one critique, at least in front of the family, that the food is hot. But then she goes on this spree of talking about how gross it is, how she had to really like smash this stuff, this dough stuff, into a little pea-sized thing and swallow it, and she doesn't know how people can eat this. It's super hot. Just basically being all around disrespectful to this man's culture, which again, in somebody like his family, that is so important. Some people are not tapped into their culture, and you know, something like this might not bother them that much, but you can tell Chidi and his family, they're very traditional, very proud of their ways and their traditions and their food and culture overall, and she is just shitting all over it left and right, while also actively trying to beef with his sister. The vibes are so off right now.
What kind of food do you eat?
We don't really cook. Especially in the US, everything's mostly like pre-packaged, warm up.
And wouldn't you know it, Renee is, she doesn't have much life skills in terms of cooking and providing sustenance for herself and her kids. She's just like, yeah, I'll put in some pizza pockets, some DiGiorno maybe. I usually burn them, but sometimes if you cut off the burnt bits, it's not as bad. It kind of takes the bitter flavor away. And this lady's just thinking, God, my brother is such an idiot for being interested in this woman. But again, she can't just outwardly say that. So she's really trying to just ask enough questions to where hopefully Chidi eventually wakes up out of this trance-like state he's in and realizes how much of a loser Renee is and how bad she is for him. This lady is not going to ever cook for you, bro. You're blind and you're going to have to figure out how to cook on your own. That sounds terrifying. And yeah, needless to say, the sister and her man do not approve, and they're kind of getting worse and worse at keeping up appearances of them, you know, enjoying the presence around this woman. You can tell they're just really not having a good time.
I tell him that I feel like we're soulmates, that he feels me in his heart, his mind, his body.
So then Renee goes on this big thing talking about how they're spiritually aligned, and this raises a red flag to Chidi's sister, who asks a question that is a little bit invasive, but honestly, she's really looking out for her brother, who again has mentioned that he's desperately trying to make sure he saves himself until marriage. She asks if they've been physical, and that's what she's talking about, to which Renee is like, no, why would you ask that? No, of course not. And she gets very riled up, even more riled up than she's been, which causes her to absolutely just take the tension in this room to a new height. All right, check this out.
Why do you look so angry?
Not angry.
No, but I see you all the time, and I'm just saying, like, throughout this whole time, you've been looking real angry.
No, like literally, I could just sense your dark energy, and I'm wondering why the hell you're trying to put your dark magic onto me. But yeah, she brings it out to the forefront, and she's like, look, what's your freaking beef with me, lady? Which she doesn't have beef with you. She just doesn't approve of you. There's a difference.
I am not angry. I'm just stressed about my brother, okay?
She's stressed.
And her husband speaks up for her. He's like, look, it's not about you. She's worried about her brother, okay? This guy's a sensitive dude who has a very specific set of needs from his partner, on top of the other needs that she'd be worried about if he wasn't blind. So of course she's gonna be worried, and you're giving us red flags left and right. You just told us you eat pizza pockets, and then you went rage mode at the dinner table while we're trying to eat his favorite meal. We can't even get through something like that after he just got this terrible, terrible announcement from the doctor. Like, how cruel can she be? And honestly, I don't really speak poorly of Chidi very often, but I think he's an absolute fucking coward in this scene. I mean, this woman's talking disrespect to your sister, the woman who's helped you through life, who's giving you room and board as you're blind, trying to help you throughout the world, not asking anything of you other than love, and you're not stepping up to the plate for her. Like, if my significant other ever spoke to my family in this way, in a way that was unwarranted, I would be done with them instantly. They're getting left in the dust, okay? You can go find a hotel room with your bitch ass attitude right now. But no, he's just like, yeah, I keep telling her that you guys are super happy to have her here. Like, no, that's not the truth. You need to be a big boy and step up and realize this is not a good situation. I just don't want to be around that energy ever. And this guy's wanting to willingly submit himself to that for the rest of his life. You don't have to be that committed, dude. You can just call the wedding off and admit that you've wasted all this time speaking to a psychopath that you really aren't compatible with. But regardless, they finish the rest of this dinner in awkward silence as the sister is just really trying to hold back her comments. She does a good job of staying composed in front of a psycho like this lady. And yeah, needless to say, the vibes are absolutely detrimental and down right now. So the next morning, she angrily brushes brushes her hair with her fingers, looking like a psycho staring at herself in the mirror. And she comes up with this plan that she's gonna ask Chidi to get a hotel room, basically, because she doesn't feel that the energy is on par with what she needs in this house. You know, there's just too much dark energy again. She invites him out to a walk, and this is where they sit down outside and have this conversation. And I'm telling you right now, this is going to be one of the most despicable scenes you have seen on this show, which we have shared moments as I've covered 90 Day Fiancé and the travesty that is the show. We've seen some pretty terrible shit, but this is up there. I mean, this is Angela fighting with Liz outside the hot tub. Like, this is to the point where I think the producers should have stepped in, and you're gonna see what I mean here in a moment.
So about last night, I wanted to apologize because I did raise my voice a little bit.
Oh, okay, so now she's doing her fawning routine, and she's like, I'm sorry I was crazy and I yelled at your sister, and I also implied that she was an evil witch and that she was trying to take you from me. But we all know she's gonna flip her lid again in about 90 seconds or less, because that's what a crazy person like this does. It's absolute emotional manipulation to a level that we don't often see in shows like this.
I wish we can still have more time together at home.
So Chidi's speaking his mind. He's finally like, you know what? No, I actually don't want to go to a hotel room. Can we just try to work it out at home? Like, we could switch up the room situation? To which she instantly pops off when she doesn't get the answer that she wanted.
To see my soulmate that I'm supposed to marry, that he wants to marry me so bad, I'm just looking for that little bit of quality time along with you.
Yeah, you could tell the aggression knob is turning up here. Even in his face, he's getting worried. Like, this dude is not good at hiding his emotions because he's not really thinking about that. He's just hearing and taking in all this information, and he's looking worried right now, a little bit stressed. It's kind of a face I'm used to seeing on him whenever they're out and about together and she's doing her crazy antics.
I'm good, I get it, okay? I'm just uncomfortable with the situation because I came so freaking far.
So once again, she's pressuring him to try to, I don't know, have some alone time when he has avidly stated that he doesn't want that. He wants to be at their house where he's comfortable, where he has accommodations and support outside of her, and she can't seem to, you know, understand that. Instead, she's like, if you really want to love me and be my soulmate and marry me, I need to have you alone. Again, if the genders were reversed here, we would be hearing a different story. There'd be 1,000 Reddit threads calling for the cancellation of this woman and removal of her from TV.
It's just my face. You understand?
No, you know what? No, I don't want to argue, okay?
No,
Look,
we are not arguing.
shut up, Dad. I'm trying to be nice to you.
Okay, bitch. You're gonna tell my man to shut up and put a finger in his face? You know what? I wish I could just crawl through this screen and pull this man away from her and run away with him on my back into Neverland, okay? We need to get far away from this psycho because I am over this at this point. She just told him to shut up and shushes him. Also, do you notice she grabs his hand and squeezes it a little bit tight? Again, if these things were swapped, I'm gonna be that guy. We would be flipping our shit right now. I hope you are too, even with how the situation is right now, because this is not okay.
I just want to hang out with you, okay?
And at this point, all the screaming just really overwhelms this guy. I mean, he's explaining, and he's explained before, that since everything relies on sound for him, I mean, obviously he has his sense of smell and taste still, but most of the world is navigated through sound for him. And when things are in front of him like this, and she's screaming at him, and he hears the general ambiance of the world around him, it's so overwhelming. And she knows that, but she keeps the pressure down, and she's just like screaming at this guy.
And you know what the sad part is you care more about what people think.
No, it's not.
Hey!
Oh man, and now she's squeezing her own hand in anger. It's like she's trying to restrict herself from just slapping him upside the head. This is so terrifying to me. Her aggressive stance and everything and the way she's raising her voice, this is just not okay, dude. You need to run, man. How is this not a red flag to you? How is your self-esteem that low to where you think you want to accept this and marry something like this, dude?
You care more about the world and what people and your family think versus us.
You gotta take your finger out of his face this moment, okay? He can't see. What does that do for you? It just shows how dismissive and terrible she is when it comes to verbal spats. And this is something she must do at home a lot, but it's not okay anywhere.
It's all about belief.
Well, I'm not gonna come to your beliefs because I'm far beyond your little beliefs.
Oh man, and once again, she just shits on his religion, something that he's found that has been so powerful for him in his life and something that's probably kept him on this planet in the wake of him losing his vision, something I couldn't even fathom. Me, I'm not that religious, but I'm even getting offended on his behalf because why are you over here talking down about that aspect like it doesn't matter? Because instead she's on some weird UFO, the government or lizard people type conspiracy beat because she's actually perma-fried and her brain is mush. And I'm getting very heated. It's very warm in this little voiceover room I have set up here, okay?
And now that I know that you see me as too much of a temptation by staying with me in the room shows me that you're just not ready for me, right?
Oh yeah, that's it. She's just not ready for him. They even do a little simulation of what it's like as she's screaming at him and he can't see. Let's just go into his world for a moment and experience this hell.
No, I'm serious. I wasted a lot of money, a lot of time. Don't say no. I wasted a lot of money.
Oh man, and the further manipulation, her bringing up the money, saying, I wasted all this money. You chose to come down here. Also, it's a lot of money to you because you're a loser and you don't have an actual job at home. You work with your family, and even then you're not accountable enough to work full time. And they just do it out of pity because they realize their adult daughter is such a fucking child. She can't ever integrate into society and be a proper fucking adult, dude. You're a loser. That's why this is such a big deal to you. I'm so over this lady. It's unreal.
It hurts me greatly to hear her mean words, her aggression, her anger. So I don't know what to do.
Well, Chidi is ending the episode saying, I don't know what to do. I just want to keep her around. And at this point, man, I really can't be victim blaming and all this stuff. But it's like, dude, you're inviting the further pain if you continue this relationship. This cycle of fighting and bickering is going to continue until the end of time. And she's never going to fully support you in your blind endeavors, okay? So hopefully I didn't sound too harsh in this episode, but that's where I'm going to leave it off because I'm just getting too pissed off, dude. Let me know if you want more of this and more 90 Day Fiancé. As always, if you made it to the end, comment Grim Squad for life. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until next time, peace out.